Again everyone, in the last video we have learned how to calculate the student learning time. In this video, we are going to learn on how to create PLO analysis by displaying spider web, which is aligned with the new iCGPA concept. Malaysia has developed the latest Malaysia Education Blueprint, and one of the main strategies is to develop a holistic and integrated curriculum. In this strategy, the curriculum will be both student-centered and outcomes-based. In order to track the progress and impact of the strategy mentioned just now, an integrated cumulative grade point average, or so-called iCGPA, was developed. iCGPA is to assess holistic, entrepreneurial, and balanced student development, especially in learning, to strengthen the constructive alignment practices, and to report the students' attainment of the attributes leading to the objective of the strategies mentioned previously. So, what is iCGPA? Well, iCGPA is actually a value report that displays students' achievement in mastering the 8 learning outcome domains. The value report is eventually reported or displayed as a radar chart, or we call it as spider web. This is different from the format of the existing current curriculum mapping style as follows. Alright, let's move to our core business on how to develop the spider web for iCGPA. Let's take the soil science subject again as an example. The soil science subject has a total of 4 CLOs, and they are mapped to PLO number 1, PLO number 2, PLO number 5, and PLO number 6. Let's look at another subject, agrochemicals in agriculture. In this subject, it has only 3 CLOs, and the CLO is mapped with PLO number 1, PLO number 2, and PLO number 6. Now, let's proceed to the calculation part. The first step is to open the Microsoft Excel and prepare the table format as follows. Under the PLO number 1 for the soil science subject, the notional credit is 3. The weightage is 50%. In order to calculate the total marks, we need to multiply notional credits together with the values under the weightage column in order to get the total marks. In this case, the total marks is 150%. In agrochemicals in agriculture, the notional credit is 3. The weightage is 50%. Thus, the total marks is 150%. So how to obtain 300% under the summation of total marks column? Well, it is very easy. We just need to sum up the total marks under soil science subject and agrochemicals in agriculture subject. Alright, now let's look at PLO number 2. In soil science, the weightage is 20% and the notional credit is 3. So the total marks is 60%. Similar thing goes to agrochemicals in agriculture. In PLO number 5, the weightage of soil science is 10%. Thus, the total marks is 30%. However, agrochemicals in agriculture does not map with this PLO. Thus, there is no weightage being allocated. And the total marks is also 0. So, the summation of total marks is only 30%. In PLO number 6, The weightage for soil science subject is 20%. Thus, the total marks is 60%. However, for agrochemicals in agriculture, the weightage assigned is 30%. Thus, the total marks is 90%. This gives a summation of total marks of 150%. Now, let's proceed to step number 2. In PLO number 1, under the soil science subject with a weightage of 50%, student number 1 obtained 40.5%, while student number 2 only obtained 38.5%. So, student number 1 has a total marks of 121.5%, while student number 2 has 115.5%. In agrochemicals in agriculture, student number 1 obtained 42%, while student number 2 obtained only 34%. Thus, student number 1 has a total marks of 126%, while student number 2 has 102%. So, in order to calculate the summation of total marks, let's take an example in student number 1. We need to sum up 121.5% together with 126% in order to get 247.5%. Similar calculation applies to student number 2. In order to calculate for the iCGPA for PLO number 1, we need to take the values in summation of total marks of students divided by the values in the summation of total marks and multiply by 4. So for student number 1, we need to take 247.5% divided by 300% and multiply by 4 in order to get 3.3. Similar calculation applies to student number 2. For PLO number 2, we follow the same calculation as mentioned just now. For PLO number 5, it is not being mapped under agrochemicals in agriculture, so we do not have to perform any calculation. So the summation of total marks only comes from the soil science subject. In PLO number 5, again, we can see that student number 1 obtained the higher iCGPA compared to student number 2. Similar calculation is performed for PLO number 6. After all the calculation, we proceed to step number 3. That is, we have to create a summary table like this and insert the iCGPA values into the respective PLO columns. Because the two subjects do not have any mapping with PLO number 3, PLO number 4, PLO number 7, and PLO number 8. Thus, the four respective columns remain 0. The final step is to develop the spider web. All we need to do is just select the values, click Insert the radar chart, and this is what we will get. So for student number 1, we can see the values of points generated in PLO number 1, PLO number 2, PLO number 5, PLO number 6, and now when we compare between student 1 and student 2, we can see that student 2 is weaker in PLO number 5, which is communication, leadership, and team skills. For more information, you may download this video for your references in my blank space. Thank you.